Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm Qasim Javed and you're watching the special transmission of the 2020 World Cup here on Express 24/7. Now today's encounters promise to be nothing less than thrilling. First match is going to be a tough one with both teams looking for some momentum, while the second one is going to be the battle of the champions. And in this broadcast, we will tell you about both of the games, latest news, stats, in-depth analysis and so much more. First up, India will be taking on hosts West Indies in their second Group F match of the Super 8 stage today. The match is going to be the first early morning start for the West Indies, so their batsmen will have to make some adjustments. However, their fast bowlers will be raring to go against India after seeing what Australia did to the former champions of this format. Jerome Taylor and Kemar Roach will be desperately seeking the help of their fielders though, if they want to repeat a performance like the Aussies. The Indian batsmen, on the other hand, are tired and looking rusty after their long outing in the IPL. Suresh Raina, however, will be hoping to continue his good form. Indian bowlers, meanwhile, will be looking to bowl with some discipline after their horrible show against the Aussies, which originally set up their defeat. This is a whole lot of improvement to be done for both sides, but there is not much time left. After today's game, only one team will be moving ahead. So it's the big, crucial game both India and West Indies are facing. Both teams need to win today's match in order to keep their hopes alive of making it into the semi-finals. The match between the hosts and the winners of the inaugural T20 World Cup begins at 6:30 p.m. Pakistan time, that is in less than an hour from now. The venue, Kensington Oval of the Bridgetown, Barbados ground. And to discuss today's game, we have online with us Shahryar Malik, noted cricket analyst. Thank you very much for joining us, Shahryar. Now, big match for India after they were outclassed by Australia a few days back. How do you see India's chances against the host West Indies?
I still think India is the stronger team. I understand that West Indies are the host and both teams are down on confidence. But if you really look at the Indian lineup, it's star-studded with batsmen. And I can understand that India collapsed in the previous game. The bounce of the Bridgetown Barbados wicket got the better of them. But then there was also a quality Australian bowling attack in the form of Sean Tate, Dirk Nannes and Mitchell Johnson, who exploited the conditions and made sure that the Indian batsmen who cannot play the short ball very well were found out. I'm sure West Indies will try to replicate the same thing that the Australians did, but I don't see the West Indian attack posing the same problem to the Indian batsmen that the Australians did. And I actually think that India is in a good position to make a big score today. Yes, Indians must be down on confidence, but they must have taken a lot of heart from the way Rohit Sharma batted. And India cannot afford to play an extra batsman. I sincerely feel that they need to play the extra bowler today, maybe Piyush Chawla, maybe an extra seamer, but because if India doesn't do that, they might end up putting themselves in a spot of bother. I don't think they can chase a big total, so India needs to get their combination right, otherwise they're definitely the stronger of the two sides.
Now, speaking about West Indies, do you think that their bowlers, Kemar Roach and Jerome Taylor, will be able to put up the same performance like the Aussies did against the Indians a few days back?
Well, one thing is for sure, after seeing what happened, I am 100% sure that West Indies is going to try and repeat exactly the same thing that happened 2 days ago. Jerome Taylor is a classy bowler, so is Kemar Roach, but Taylor is not really the type of bowler who likes bowling short. He's one of those people who gets a lot of swing and likes to move the ball. Kemar Roach, on the other hand, seems to be the person who's going to try that approach. But I think India's best chance of making sure they don't lose wickets in the early 6 overs is probably to send Rohit Sharma up the order. Murli Vijay looked absolutely out of sorts and had no idea how to play Dirk Nannes or Sean Tate, whereas someone like Rohit Sharma was so comfortable against the short ball. He was timing the ball beautifully, and it seemed that the short ball didn't make any difference to him because his technique was solid. If India sends Rohit Sharma up the order, possibly Rohit Sharma opens the batting instead of Murli Vijay, will probably be a positive step for India, and I probably see them getting a very good start, and that will be the best way to negate someone like Kemar Roach and Jerome Taylor.
Now, speaking about Indian bowling, they struggled badly against the Australia 2 days back. Do you think that they will be able to do something that could change their fortunes against the West Indies today?
One thing is for sure, Mahendra Singh Dhoni has heavily been dependent on Harbhajan Singh in the first 6 overs. Now, I think Dhoni might have to change his strategy. Yes, Chris Gale is an amazing batsman, and we all know the threat of Chris Gale. And maybe using someone like Harbhajan in the first 6 overs might just be able to get you the early wicket. But I feel that Harbhajan would be more useful to Mahendra Singh Dhoni after the power plays are over. It's a strong wicket. It's good for fast bowlers. Ashish Nehra and Zaheer Khan are good fast bowlers, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni must have confidence in them to bowl the first 6 overs. Even if you saw yesterday in Pakistan's match, Afridi showed some faith in Sami and Amir, and he was rewarded for that in the first 4 overs, because that is the best time to give the fast bowlers the new ball. It's a hard ball, it's a bouncy surface. If there is any chance for fast bowlers to really take any advantage of this surface, it'll be in the first 4 overs. Nanis destroyed the entire Indian batting lineup with the newer ball. So Dhoni needs to rethink his tactics. I think Zaheer and Nehra should use the new ball, and Harbhajan should come in first change, or especially after the power plays are over, and then exert control over the West Indian batsmen.
Right. Sharia, speaking about the Indian team, do you think that the long and dull IPL has had an impact on the Indian players? They look pretty tired and rusty.
Yes, they look tired, they look jaded. I feel that maybe they've become robotic once you've played so many 2020 games. The mental side of things gets to you, and then that was pretty much evident. The only person who didn't look mentally jaded in the last game was Rohit Sharma. But India better refresh themselves very, very quickly. They have to understand that this is an absolute do-or-die game. If India loses today, their chances of qualifying for the semi-finals are virtually gone. And the only way that can happen is through Mahendra Singh Dhoni's leadership. Dhoni is a charismatic man. It was his leadership through which India won the first 2020 competition. Dhoni recently made the Chennai Super Kings win. Somewhere Dhoni needs to find that magic to lift his boys in order to get the desired result. Because I'm 100% with you when it's quite evident that the Indian team doesn't really look as good as it should. And it's simply because they're mentally not there.
Now, we of course will be discussing the next match schedule for today. Speaking about this first match between India and West Indies, who do you think is the favourite to win the match?
West Indies, home conditions, strong players like Chris Gale, Kieron Pollard, but I would have to go with India. Yes, I know India got a real shellacking in the previous game, but on paper, I think India has the better lineup as far as the 2020 game is concerned. It's a strange game. Last year, the West Indies got the better of India in England, so there's no reason why they shouldn't do that again. The only difference is at that time, it was a red-hot West Indian team. They had beaten the likes of Australia. Their confidence was high, and that's why they got the better of India. Right now, since both teams are sort of on a low, having lost their matches, I think India has the better team and India will win today.
Sharia, do stay on the line with us. We will now take a look at how the Group F of the Super 8 stage looks like before today's matches. In form, Sri Lanka and Australia are at the top 2 positions with 2 points each from their first games in the Super 8 stage. India and host West Indies are on the 3rd and 4th positions respectively, following their defeats in the first Super 8 matches. And now moving on from the first game to today's second game, Australia will be taking on last year's runner-up Sri Lanka. The last time Australia and Sri Lanka played in Barbados was in 2007 World Cup final, an ODI which finished almost in darkness and with a 3rd global trophy in a row for Ricky Ponting. Both teams have changed considerably since then, with Australia having only 4 players in the Caribbean who appeared in that game and Sri Lanka 6. Each side enters their Super 8 encounter with a bright hope after they were successful in their opening fixtures. Australia have shown their power and no signs of the slips that have softened up their previous 2 World 2020 campaigns. Following group victories against Pakistan and Bangladesh and a convincing 49-run win over India, they are the informed team of the competition. Sri Lanka, who stumbled in the tournament opener against New Zealand, lost the rust with a 57-run thrashing of West Indies on Friday. Both teams have on-song batsmen at the top of the order, while their bowling attacks are also clicking. Whoever wins will probably have done enough to earn a spot in the semi-finals. Now we will have lots more on this match for you, but right after this short break, stay with us.